How you doing, YouTube family? Today is still Wednesday, August 7th, 2024, and it's your man Big D, and I'm back with another one. Before I go in, I would like to thank those of you that have taken the time out to go over to my son's channel, Illuminated D, to consume and feast on that good old fashioned content over there. As I said, there is something for everybody over there. For those of you that have taken the time out of your busy lives and saw the value to subscribe to my son's channel, I appreciate you so much. And my son is also thankful. You know, YouTube family, do you remember the push to defund the police? This push came on the heels after a video of George Floyd being murdered went viral on social media. Many had no idea as what it meant to defund the police. Well, family, before I can speak on this topic, I must first lay the framework for my thoughts and opinions. First off, defunding the police means reallocating or redirecting funding away from the police department to other governmental agencies. Now, I can begin. I 100% understand why certain parts of society feel the way that it does towards law enforcement. You know, I understand that society is tired of watching unarmed black men and women dying at the hands of law enforcement. Let me preface this by saying, I am not a Democrat, nor do I identify as a Republican. But what I am is for whoever can get the job done, and for whoever has the intestinal fortitude to give America the medication that she needs to get her well again. You see, fam, the medication that will get America back on her feet and back in balance. Your 45th president, Donald Trump, once said, police departments always have a few bad apples, and that society should not judge the whole police department based on these few bad apples. But unfortunately, these few bad apples make it difficult for the entire department. Doesn't matter if it's a police department or a deputy sheriff. Because of these few bad apples, Society has deemed that all the law enforcement officers are corrupt and heavy-handed when enforcing the law. This speaks directly to the brutalization of all black and brown people. Now, fam, I am not going to insult your intelligence on this video by saying the murdering of unarmed black men is a phenomenon. On the contrary, black men have been getting murdered by law enforcement for decades. However, what is an oddity is the fact now that the murdering of black women by law enforcement is on the rise. So I can understand why some would say, defund the police. And others would say, get rid of them altogether. Get rid of the police altogether. Get rid of all the law enforcement. But now, fam, let me say this. You see, woman and man have been disobedient since the Garden of Eden. A woman was the first to disobey the rule/law that the Creator has set forth. And man blindly followed her lead. This was the beginning of mankind's journey down the road of criminality. You must understand that there will always be those in society that will steal, kill, rape, and commit heinous crimes that shock the conscience of society. I've seen it with my own eyes. So if we abolish the police, who would my elderly mother call when her home is being burglarized? Who would the single black mother call when her low vibrational ass, Pookie, Ray Ray, Nook Nook, ass, baby daddy goes upside her head, or even worse? Because there's always the propensity for the violence to escalate. Okay, so let's defund the police and cut down on the size of the law enforcement presence in the community. Well, now you have a reduced number of law enforcement officers tasked to handle calls for service for a huge number of citizens. Before I retired, it was in our county, it was one deputy per like 3 to 4 citizens. One deputy got to handle 3 to 4 citizens, and our county is huge. So you can imagine response times for in-progress calls for service will suffer. Response times for delayed calls for service will suffer. You can forget about proactive law enforcement to deter crime. Because it's more than just, police ain't just supposed to put people in jail. Law enforcement officers ain't just locking people up. They're supposed to deter crime too. But most importantly, community policing will definitely suffer. Community policing emphasizes engagement with the community, interactive programs, and personalized policing, to name a few. You see, fam, I have been to countries where policing was practically non-existent. Countries so poor, the police couldn't help but work for the ops, the bad guys, because they paid them more money. But the crime rate in these countries was astronomical. Astronomical. I couldn't imagine living in a country where there was no rule of law and every day is like living in the Wild West. The Wild, Wild West. No, there's absolutely no excuse for a person who swore to serve and protect to violate a person's rights, or even worse, take a human life when it is not justified. From my perspective as a retired black law enforcement officer, I knew what I signed up for. I knew there was a possibility that I may not have made it home after my shift was over. I knew there was a possibility that I may have gotten injured on the job. Hell, truth be told, I did sustain injuries on the job. Because I'm going to tell you right now, some people, even though they dead as wrong, they still don't want to take responsibility and go to jail. Because when you break the law, that's the starting point of the process. Getting booked in. Yes, absolutely, I rose through the ranks. And I made well over 6 figures. But you know, fam, you got to ask yourself, is your life only worth 100K? 120K? Hell, maybe even 200K. I would venture to say that had I died in the line of duty, my mother would have gave a damn or cared less about how much money I made. Because to her, my life is priceless. I agree with the fact that law enforcement agencies around the country need stricter hiring standards. Stricter hiring standards. I believe you can weed out these few bad apples before they become a loose cannon and dispense their own form of justice. I absolutely don't agree with the concept of abolishing the police or defunding the police. Because the fact of the matter is, fam, somebody got to do the dirty work and deal with the worst of us in our society. You know, it's easy to sit back and Monday morning quarterback unless you can do the job. You know, it's easy to sit on my couch on Sunday and watch Tom Brady and say, "Damn, Tom, you didn't see that motherfucker over in the corner wide open?" See, it's easy to talk shit when you're on the outside, but try getting in the game and seeing how fast that everything moves around you. Everything is a blur. That's what it's like doing the job. Because at a moment's notice, it can be a quiet day. The next thing is on and popping. So somebody got to do the dirty work. Somebody got to be willing to get their hands dirty. And somebody got to be willing to pay the ultimate price for a few coins. Fam, there's always going to be those that are going to commit crimes. They are the worst of us. So, fam, that's just something to think about. You know, I didn't want to get on my rant, but I just felt like I want to get on and, get you all's opinion on the matter. But you know what, fam? Listen. Always be more tomorrow than you were yesterday. Peace.